Welcome and thanks for riding with the Cowboy. We were victorious Sunday when we defeated the Carolina Panthers 21-18 in Raymond James Stadium. It's a wonderful victory, improving our record to 5 wins on the year and 7 losses. It was a victory, 21-18. A 75-yard touchdown strike to Mike Evans after the Panthers regained the lead 10-7 on the Bucs. We won the game 21-18, and it was a big victory. Baker had his moments to an interception, threw a touchdown pass. Running game seemed to here and there. Biggest problem again, the defense. The Carolina Panthers were able to run on us because we had no linebackers on the roster that could play. We had to bring one of our cornerbacks in and let him play linebacker. We lost so many. Shortage in the linebackers, and the Panthers were successful running it against us. And if they'd have continued, I don't know what would have happened, but what did happen was we won the game 21-18 and picked up another win in the win category. We move on up to Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta this week against the Atlanta Falcons. They're leading the division at 6-6. They beat us earlier in the year, as you know. We must win this game Sunday. We don't want them to have beat us both times because in the tiebreaker that gives them the advantage, and that would give them a 2-game lead on us with only 5 games to go in the season. We must win these games. They're must-win games. Going down the stretch, we've got the Falcons this week up in Atlanta. Then we travel to Lambeau Field to Green Bay and play the Green Bay Packers up in Green Bay, and they're on a hot streak. So we need to win some games. Then we have the Jaguars back here in Tampa, and then we have the Saints and the Panthers to end their season. So we've got to get these games that we can win won. And some of them that don't look too promising for us, we've got to try to play as good as we can and win those games so that we can get in the playoffs as the NFC South champ. It's the only way the Bucs are going to get in the playoffs. They're not getting in as a wild card. Their records in that division are too weak. So either you win it or you go home. And the Panthers have only won 1 game this whole year, so you can consider it it's a 3-team race in our division: Falcons, Saints, Bucs. And we're all within a game of each other, but we don't want to go too down. So we need to win this game Sunday. It's going to take a real good effort on their defense to stop their running game. They've got a great running game up in Atlanta, and they've got a good defense, steady defense with a good secondary. So we're going to have to be able to run a little bit on our own, but we're going to have some turnovers come our way and capitalize on them with touchdowns when we get that opportunity. We're going to need a lot of support this week as we move on up into Georgia and try to win this game against the Falcons. It's a must-win game. They're all must-win games now. Levante David is back in camp this week. He's been practicing. We have Dennis and we have Russell. So we have 3 linebackers that we're pretty sure of will be ready to go against the Falcons. We're going to need Yaya Danby off on that edge to get some pass rush onto that Atlanta Falcon quarterback, and cannot let him sit back there with Pitts. Because he can surely hit you and get some passes off on a weak secondary. Davis and Dean are out. We got D. Delaney back there, McCullough back there. We need a good defensive showing by that pass rush to alleviate a lot of the ability to pass on that secondary of the Bucs. We've got to win this game. It's a must-win game. It is a playoff game, so to speak, for the Bucs, because if they don't win these games, they're not going to make the playoffs. So we're going to keep you posted with the Buccaneers for this week against Atlanta. We hope that they win. And we're going to move on to some other games this week. Of course, the Chiefs are beaten by the Packers we just aforementioned. The Kansas City Chiefs are beaten by the Green Bay Packers. Cincinnati Bengals beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's a lot of action this week, a lot of movement at the top. The Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence was hurt the other night against the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know the extent of his injury. We've lost some quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett of the Pittsburgh Steelers out. With all the other quarterbacks that are out, we've got about 6 starters out, and Kenny Pickett makes 7. So there's a lot of starters going out injured, and these are permanent injuries for the remaining of the season. So it's a lot of things to keep up with this week. Continue to watch NFL, and this week's Pick'em Sports Talk with the Cowboy, Coco, and Judy were the winners. You can pick up your papers at locations here in Highlands County, or go to the comments and pick your teams that will win this week starting tomorrow night's game and send them to the show, and we will enter you in the contest. So we're going to go on now to the big story of the week in college football, where the Florida State Seminoles were robbed of an opportunity to play in the final college football playoffs. A 13-person panel selects the 4 that play in that game, and they chose not to allow the Florida State Seminoles at 13-0 and a conference Power 5 winner to enter that contest. It is a shame and abomination. It shows that what we all felt like in college football was still the innocence is long gone. We knew it was, but we thought when they went from 2 teams to 4 that they would get it right with the rules and regulations they had, that Power 5 conference winners would be selected to the Final Four, and especially when they're 13-0 and had not lost a game this year. And to put Alabama and Texas ahead of them at 12-1 is just not right. It's wrong. It's an abomination. This week, many fans of Sports Talk with the Cowboy have contacted me by going through the show or passing along to some people here at the studio, and even personally contacting me and asking me about what had went on in that situation. So I think it's only fitting that we explain a little bit of what happened there in this travesty. And that's all it was a travesty by the selection committee in cahoots with ESPN and some of these mega million-dollar companies who want to televise football games. They made the decision on who was going to play. Regular season doesn't matter to them. So you play the regular season. What does it matter? I'm 13-0. You put 2 teams ahead of me at 12-1. Cannot be done. Should never have been done. In the regulations, it shouldn't have been done, but it was done. So who benefited from that other than the teams that were selected? The television networks. They're the ones. Because last year in the championship game, TCU got beat 56-6. They didn't want another one of those Cinderella stories that went to the end and then Goliath slaughtered David. David didn't slaughter Goliath. But it's a good story till the ending is not good. So are they trying to narrate? And that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're narrating the narrative to who plays. So Florida State was robbed. Any college fan out there, any team of the 130 Division I college programs in football should be appalled by this, because it could be in you. It could have been you. You should never stand for this. You said this is absolutely unacceptable. And I think a protest by Florida State University is what should happen. Don't think they should go to the Orange Bowl. If they go to the Orange Bowl, I think they should put the Seminole spears and their helmets on top of the spear and walk off while the fans are there. I think every football team in America should wear a FSU robbed armband and make those flags for every team that comes out of every bowl game to be carrying from every team when they enter the field of every bowl game, so that the controversy will not be swept under the rug. So everyone asked, what is that flag with FSU doing? This being ran in front of our team. Because FSU was robbed by the committee. Robbed. In cahoots with television mega networks who wanted to control who was going to be on television. America should not stand for it. The governor of our state, Ron DeSantis, has offered the Florida State University $1 million worth of legal aid to fight the selection committee's ruling. So that just should tell you how serious of the nature of the offense was by these people. Okay? And nobody should forget about it. You were robbed, FSU. I don't know what to tell you other than you were robbed. Do not ever let anybody forget it anytime you can. Try to get this armband going. Try to get the flag going. Talk to the FSU administration. Say, look, just don't go. Don't go. Don't condone it. Because if you go down there and get beat now, everybody's going to say, oh, well, Georgia beat Florida State. They should have never been there. That's what they want. You're 13-0. You should be there. It's a difference when you're playing for a championship and you're just playing a bowl game, people. We all know this. If Florida State's in the championship 4 and has a chance to win a national title, it's a lot different from you going to the Orange Bowl and just playing for an Orange Bowl trophy. Okay? So don't listen out and get confused. And go down there and play Georgia, you're giving them the satisfaction that they told you where to go. Don't do it. Don't do it. Until every football program in America, the athletic director of Florida State, get on the phone, call them. Don't sit up there and pout. Get on the phone and call these directors. Get these armbands on these players. Get these flags. Keep this controversy going. When they talk about these championship brackets, say there's no such thing. This is a rigged championship. It's not going to count. It's not going to count. Whoever wins these 4 teams is not going to count. It's rigged. Don't let them sweep it under the rug. Don't let them do it. Because if they do it today to Florida State, they'll do it to your team tomorrow. So that's all we're going to have to say today about the Florida State controversy. We're going to continue to keep you posted of it. It is a travesty. It was an absolute travesty. It was a robbery that the Florida State fans, alumni, and people who support Florida State, and the players and their families who've sacrificed all these years to have their children get to this point. And we're talking about children to get to a chance to get to the national championship. They did their work. They went 13-0 and won a conference championship. They couldn't have done no better. And then they were robbed, even though the rule book was standing in the hands of those who made that decision, and they could read what it said. All right, we're going to move on now to the Boca Raton Bowl, where the University of South Florida Bulls makes their first appearance in 5 years in a bowl. They will be playing the Syracuse Orangemen from New York, December 21st in Boca Raton. Congratulations to the University of South Florida Bull program for going to their first bowl in 5 years. Congratulations to the players, the alumni, the administration of the school, and Coach Alex Golish. His first year going 6-6 and going to that Boca Raton Bowl. Congratulations, Alex Golish. We support you here with Sports Talk with the Cowboy. We have all year long. I am a former alumni USF, and Alice, of course, writes us and asks us questions. We got one tonight about your program every single week. So congratulations to that game, and it's the 21st of December. We're going to hope that the Bulls can pull one out against the Syracuse Orangemen. Either way, they're a winner. They got to continue their season, and they got to go to a bowl game. But we sure would like to see them win one, if they could win one. But they're already a winner to us because of what their performance was on the field. And it did matter. They went 6-6, and from a team that only won 4 games in 3 years prior. So congratulations to each and every person involved in that program. And now we're going to move on to hockey. Our goalie has returned. As you know, Vasilevsky is back in net, and we have won 2 of the last 4 games in hockey, and we're looking a little bit better organizational-wise, because with him out of the net, we struggled, and we won a couple, and we lost a couple. Still early in the season, no major injuries. Victor Hedman completed 1,000 games with the Tampa Bay Lightning two games ago, which is a milestone set in itself in this day and age of free agents. So congratulations to Victor Hedman, all the 3 Stanley Cups he's won for this town. So our Tampa Bay Lightning is on the move. And in baseball, today was the first day of the winter meetings. It's where the baseball owners get together and move players. They move them like a card on a dealer in Las Vegas. This is a time that before January 1st, they won't have to pay that extra bonus millions. They can just trade the players to somebody else. And that's what they're doing at the Breakers Hotel down here in Florida. And they're discussing players. And the Rays are there, of course. And we are discussing trading Tyler Glasnow. And we're trading a few other players that we're trying to cut our payroll so we can go get the free agents we want and go shopping. So that's what's going on with the Rays. And pretty much what's going on with the Lightning. No other news other than props and propellers out at the Sebring International Raceway this last week. Historic car races. Props and propellers. They had airplane show and a race. It was the antique cars of yesteryear in IMSA. And so with that being said, we know that after first of the year, we'll get prepared for the upcoming IMSA season. At the end of January, it will be the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona. And less than 5 weeks after that will be the 71st running of the 12 Hours of Sebring presented by Mobil. So we're going to be watching as the season changes, and so does the sports. And we see that the props and propellers series is over at the racetrack. So we know we will take a break till after Christmas, and we'll get started on next year's IMSA schedule. So we're going to move on now to the questions. And the first question tonight is from Alice on the University of South Florida about what I thought about the bowl and what I thought about the chances of the win against Syracuse. Syracuse is a good team. They're 6-6. They fired their coach midway through the year. They've got an interim coach. They've now hired a new coach. He's a defensive back coach of the Atlanta Falcons and formerly of the Dallas Cowboys, Coach Brown. And he will be the coach not on the sidelines coaching, but he will be with the team. The interim coach will finish this bowl game out for Syracuse. They have a nucleus of a good team. They expected better than 6-6. They've got a good running attack like we do with Byron Brown at the University of South Florida. Our weakness, like the Buccaneers with University of South Florida, is our defense. And we gave up 56 points twice this year during the season. So, Alice, I'm concerned about that because Syracuse is a high-powered, fast offense, scores quite a lot of points. So, Alice, sadly, I'd like to shore up that defense. I think we could get out there with some enthusiasm. Byron Brown make some plays. Atkins can make some catches. And we can score some points fast on them and get out ahead of them. We can stay with anybody. We've seen that with Memphis. We played a tough defensive game against Alabama, the Crimson Tide, in the Final Four. We played 17-3 against them, as you know. So I think we have a chance. I'll keep you posted on that closer we get to the 21st of December, Alice. You need to get down there. It's only Boca Raton. And the next question is from Bill. And Bill wanted to know what I thought about the college decision on Florida State not being selected. Bill, I think, it's a travesty. It's the worst single event that I've seen in college football in the last 50 years. It's a terrible, terrible tragedy. And everybody can say, oh, well, it happened to this team back in those days. That's when they only had 2 teams. When they went to 4 teams, they said, hey, that's never going to happen again. Well, it has. Next year, of course, as you know, Bill, there'll be 12 teams. 12 teams in the playoffs instead of 4 that they were there this year. It's not going to do Florida State any good because they cheated them this year, Bill. Nothing more can be said. They can boycott the Orange Bowl. They can get these armbands. They can keep public awareness up to the fans throughout the country. They can tell everybody that it was wrong and we're not going to accept it. We're not going to accept the champion, whoever it is that wins this fraudulent tournament. And that's the end of it. We're not going to pay any attention to what they tell you because they've cheated Florida State, Bill. No question about that. Thank you for your question. God bless you, Bill. And the last question is from Tanya. And Tanya wanted to know what I thought about what the outcome of Juan DeFranco in Tampa will be. I have no idea, Tanya. That's being handled by the Dominican Republic Police. He's still under investigation down there. He is being paid arbitrarily, I think, through the Rays, not at full salary. But if the investigation goes south, it looks like it possibly will. There's 3 or 4 more victims down there underage. So I don't suppose Juan DeFranco is going to be playing for the Rays at all this year or ever again, quite frankly. So that's just my opinion. We'll have to see when next spring comes around, Tanya. But for now, I wouldn't count on him playing shortstop. And God bless you for your question, Tanya. DJX, what you got for me tonight?
Well, cowboy, you know what it is. Let's get right off into it, buddy. All right. Optimism for Steelers running back Najee Harris to play against Patriots.
Najee Harris is needed. They need him badly as in the running back situation. In first round pick out of Alabama a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And especially with Kenny Pickett being injured, they need him terribly bad.
Right on.
They do.
All right, another Steelers question. Steelers could lose 5 starters for the Patriots game. What you think about that?
They're in bad shape. The Pittsburgh Steelers, as we know, I've heard of those injuries. Some of them are groin injuries, and they could take a few weeks. But the Pittsburgh Steelers certainly don't need to lose any players. They definitely don't need to lose any players. They are in a very deep funk. They were beaten by the Arizona Cardinals this week, which is
I hate it too.
I mean, it's been terrible. And now with Kenny Pickett out for the year, hey. And they got rid of Matt Canada during the year. Offensive coordinator got fired because you couldn't get any yards. Then they had a couple of weeks ago, they made 400 yards in offense. It looked like they were rolling. And here Kenny Pickett gets his ankle injured. And now you got more players going out. And Najee Harris trying to get back out there and run the ball. It's a dire situation. I hope then those 5 players can get back.
Yeah, me too. All right, for the last Steelers question. Did Steelers make bad call with shotgun run at goal line?
Absolutely, because shotgun is not what you run from the goal line, especially with the offensive line being banged up. You talked about the injuries. They've been banged up.
Right.
I mean, listen, if you're going to get up under center, get under center, back up and throw the ball to the tight end or somebody. Go to the left or right, pitch it to someone, or go right up the gut, whatever you want to do. But don't set yourself back 5 yards. Just don't do it. There's no need in it. I mean, you're on a goal line situation. Your offensive line's still up at the goal line. They don't supposed to let nobody get an inch. They're supposed to take a foot.
Right.
So nobody gonna get to you back there. What are you going to shotgun? You see the receivers better? Then you signal them to the offense. There's receivers. Okay. I go to the shotgun. I'm saying, hey, I'm looking for receivers. What if I go into the center, back up, and just roll out and throw to one? Hey, that's an idea. They should have used it.
They should have. All right. Now, Miami Dolphins. Tua dominating early Pro Bowl voting.
Tua and the Miami Dolphins are an absolute machine. You've heard it here from Sports Start with the Cowboy, and they make a bump in the road, and the team beats them and everything. Watch Kansas City. Oh, they beat them. Well, let's see what happens in the playoffs. They're going. They scoring points. They put a 40 on the Commanders the other day. Tyreek Hill run a couple 70-yarders, and he was just running out there playing pitch and catch. Okay,
right.
And he ain't alone. So they're for real, and Tua is for real.
Right.
Tua has not been injured this year. Knock on wood. He's not been hurt. He's not been injured. No concussion. None of it. Zero. Right. He's played every snap. So it's all falling in place.
It's going down. It's another one of my teams right there too. All right, move on to the Bucs. Buccaneers safety Anthony Winfield Jr. nominated for Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Great award, Walter Payton Man of the Year for community service in the community. Antoine Winfield, I watched him last night at the Habitat Humanity, him and Tristan Wirth, our left tackle, painting houses of the recipients that would get their homes before Christmas.
Yeah.
So they're in the community. Mike Evans, our great wide receiver, who, by the way, had 1,000 yards again for the 10th straight year in his career. And he will be going to the Hall of Fame for that. Only Jerry Rice, doing it 14 times, has done it more than Mike Evans. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's another great contributor to our community. Millions of dollars contributed to the Mike Evans Foundation to give toys to kids in Tampa.
They're putting in that work. Yeah.
They're putting in the work. And Anthony Winfield is great. Put in the work.
Yes, sir. All right. Bucs wide receiver Godwin expected to play.
I hope he does. He had a neck injury 2 weeks ago. He played well this week. He got a reverse and run 45 yards for his first touchdown of the year, which is really kind of odd because he's getting $20 million. He's a great receiver. He could be a first #1 receiver on any team in the league. He was Brady's favorite target besides Evans. 1 touchdown this year. 1. And he had to run it. So Canales, your offense, you gotta add this guy. It's Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
You're paying him $21 million a year, by the way. So
that's a lot of money.
So yeah, we need him to get back. He has had nagging injuries of his neck. Took that reverse, showing the speed and agility.
Yeah.
The man can run out of the backfield like we're talking about the shotgun. He can run out of the backfield as a receiver and score that long of a touchdown, dodging people and throwing the ball and let him run like he's supposed to.
Let him get it in. All right, that's what I got for you tonight, Cowboy.
God bless you, DJX, and God bless each and every one of you. This is a Christmas spirit, and sometimes in life it doesn't go our way, and peace on earth, goodwill to men, and things this week have not, that goodwill towards men has not been lived up to on many fronts. But I want you all to know that we need to try to stay calm and as relevant in the season as we can. Do unto others as they do unto you is not how it should be. Lend a hand, and if you can't, still lend one. And be good to your neighbor, and know your neighbor, and be good until next show. God bless you, and Cowboy out.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?